Hi, and welcome to this review of the Penwich School for Virtuous Girls historical romance book series by Sophie Jordan. I'm Olivia, your favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot, and you're watching Random Olive Reads. First up, we have Sins of a Wicked Duke, which is book one of the series. We start with the tragic prologue of three girls who become friends at a terrible girls' school where meals are withheld and punishments are severe. Now, we fast forward many years later. Fallon escapes the unwanted advances of her employer's son and meets a devilish duke who attempts to both save her and seduce her. She rejects him as well and decides to dress as a boy for her next form of employment. Unfortunately, the employment agency has sent her to the demon duke himself, where she obtains a position as a footman. Now, she hopes to escape Dominic's notice, especially since she sees firsthand the wicked behavior that he engages in, but she can't help express her signs of disapproval. Now, Dominic has his own troubled backstory with a overly pious grandfather and a physically punishing governess who now he seeks to live up to his supposed wretchedness. And he's baffled by his unease around the new footman, and he doesn't know why he cares so much about the boy's approval. He doesn't yet realize that the footman is the very same woman that he can't get out of his mind since that chance meeting long ago. This one was fun to read just to see all the chaos and calamity unravel, which is often the case with a servant in disguise. In Scandal They Wed is book two of the series. Now, the prologue here starts with Evie's younger sister, Linny, giving birth to an illegitimate child, and Evie's stepmother wanting to give the baby away. At some point, Evie convinces her father to let her raise the baby as her own to save her sister's reputation. We time jump a few years later. We find out that Linny's suitor was a soldier who was sent to war before they could marry. And as that man is dying in battle, he asks his cousin Spencer to take care of Linny and the child. When we catch up to Evie in her impoverished living situation, the reader finds out that her sister had gotten married and passed away in the intervening years. Spencer eventually does show up at Evie's cottage and believes her to be the precious Linny that his cousin had pined over all these years. Since Evie doesn't want to lose custody of her son, she lies and says that she is Linny, and it's a tangled mess, and everyone feels guilty for being attracted to someone they shouldn't, eventually ending up with a marriage between Evie and Spencer for the benefit of the child, and so that Spencer can fulfill his duties to his new title. There's lots of potential for betrayal here, with Evie lying about being a mother and Spencer not being forthcoming about him being a viscount. This book definitely keeps the pages turning just so you'll find out what kind of calamity happens next. Wicked Nights with a Lover is book three of the series. We have Marguerite, our third friend, who has a run in with a fortune teller who tells her that she'll be dying before the year is out. Now, having lived modestly for years and saving up for the future, Marguerite decides to take a year of sabbatical from working as a nurse and go on an adventure. Before she can do that, she ends up being kidnapped by her father's business associate, Ash, and carried off to be married. Now, based on what the fortune teller had said, Marguerite believes that being married will be like the first step towards her own death. So she kind of doesn't want to get married, even though she's terribly attracted to Ash. There's a ton of back and forth on whether Marguerite will agree to marry Ash, which isn't terribly interesting to read. This plot is pretty light on the plot and pretty average on the romance. On the plus side, we do get to meet a couple of Marguerite's sisters who end up being featured in a future series. While the series seems like it'll consist of a tight knit friend group in Fallon, Evie, and Marguerite, their stories are totally separate from each other and not really interconnected. You're totally able to read each of these books as standalone. Now, with all three books here, we have male characters who are a bit brutish and they feel like they're lacking in like full consent before making any physical moves on the female character. This is probably a remnant of the date of publication between 2009 to 2010. If you can overlook that part, we have pretty interesting plots with the female characters doing whatever they need to do to survive in their perilous circumstances. And I am looking forward to reading the next series, which will see more of Marguerite's newfound sisters. Thank you so much for watching this video. Links to all these books are in the description box. Like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.